Hello and welcome to the Daily Meal for Sunday, the 4th of September 2022. Now, we are going to talk about shares. This has been going on for a while. It was announced a while ago, but I've only just got around to finding out about it. So this is from the lionstrust.org. The Lions Trust was set up in the past when there was a threat to the ownership of Millwall. That it could go a bit bandy. Of course, John Berylson came in, and everything has been sweet as a nut since then. So, the Lions Trust has kind of got cobwebs on it now, a bit dormant. But they have issued this statement because Millwall Holdings PLC, which is the holding company of Millwall Football Club, are making moves. So, an extraordinary general meeting has been announced on the Millwall Holdings PLC website. We understand that the primary motion is to vote on a consolidation of the current company's shareholders. The intention being to reduce the numbers down to just 28 major holdings, 28 companies and individuals holding shares in Millwall. You'll be able to have them all in one room. This is a similar process to the one done in 2010, 12 years ago, when 43,000 small shareholders at that time were reduced to the current figure of approximately 8,400. So that happened before. Not a lot of people weren't happy about that at the time. They basically had their shares stolen from them. They just vanished into thin air. Well, they didn't vanish into thin air because they were transferred over to the Lions Trust. Not a lot of people were kind of upset about that. So Millwall FC is proposing that there's disenfranchised shares should be rolled up and transferred as a block to the Lions Trust as a properly constituted supporters trust to be held on behalf of the fans, as was done in 2010. Yes and no. We'll get onto that later. There is another option. Yeah. So what the idea was, the shares would be, rather than you as a personal individual holding shares in Millwall Football Club, this trust, which is bigger than you, bigger than the club, it's a separate thing that's supposed to be. They have the shares, and then you join the trust as a member, and then you and me and all other Millwall fans join the trust. We're a member of the trust, and we discuss what should happen in terms of the Lions Trust and their voting power, in terms of regard of the percentage of shares that they own and what they do when they have shareholder meetings, how they should vote. So that's how it's supposed to work. But like I said, since John Berylson came in, the Lions Trust kind of gone away. There's not really much going on there. So not really much to do to the Lions Trust. So why would you become a member of it? But the full Millwall Holdings PLC statement can be found here, and we'll get onto that later. We will look at that. The Lions Trust has been informed that this consolidation is being done to simplify the club's share structure, reduce costs, and assist with attracting new investment. New investment. Aha. New investment. New investment in the team, in the facilities. We've got the training ground that they're trying to get through in West Kings now. New investment in and around the den that they're trying to get permission for off of Lewisham Council, which is frustratingly slow, and the rest of it. Whilst the Lions Trust endorses all of these aims, we are seeking the views of those fans who have expressed support for the Lions Trust since its relaunch in order to guide both our vote and whether we should accept the consolidated shares. Those small shareholders who've bought into our club over the years did so primarily as a means of connection with the club that they've supported all their lives, and this is something that we feel the club should properly acknowledge and compensate. We've also asked that once again the individual shareholders should be allowed to opt out of their small shares being transferred to the Lions Trust by requesting a charitable donation be made by Mill FC to the Mill Community Scheme instead. Well, more on that later. So then they finish the statement there. So let's have a look at the actual being put out. Now this is why are they doing it? Because it costs money. Why does it cost money? Because if you've got 8,400 shareholders, they need to either mail them this in the post, 8,400 letters, or even if it's all email, doing that as well, keeping a list of all the emails of all the shareholders. So yeah, this is it. Notice of a general meeting. Not only about that, but most shareholder meetings aren't. Hardly anyone turns up. Can you imagine if 8,400 people turned up to the shareholder meeting? Now they're holding that at a den on 3 p.m. on Monday, the 19th of September. If every shareholder turned up, it'll be 8,400. They'll have to go out into the seats in the stadium and all fill them up. It'd be crazy, absolutely crazy. And then what? Do a show of hands on voting, and then someone's got to take a picture and then count everyone, or just everyone's got to stick their arms up for 5 minutes while they finish counting them. Absolute craziness. So yeah. So let's try and buzz through this before. So this is a letter from the chairman, John Belson. There's the directors there. This was on 2nd of September, so this is a couple of days old. The company proposes to consolidate ordinary shares of £10 each and B ordinary shares of £1 each into ordinary shares of £10,000 each. Indeed. So they're going to be voting on that. But here's the thing, we'll get into that later. So background and reason for the consolidation. Since 2011, there have been no significant change in composition or the ordinary shares within the company. During this period, there has been an ongoing investment requirement, and the current environment requires significant investment into the professional football club just to maintain its current position in the EFL Championship. Yeah, what they've been doing, so John Berylson, what they do is, I think he loans, his company makes a loan to Millwall, and then that loan gets converted into shares, but that's diluting the shares for everyone else. So you have to write 8,400 letters saying, is it okay if we do this? So that's why it's annoying to do that. The COVID-19 pandemic has had a significant impact on business operations of the company through playing full season behind closed doors, as well as impacts on attendance and other commercial income streams, whilst at the same time requiring investment into the professional football operations. In addition to this, despite no longer being listed on the alternative investment market, maintaining a substantial number of small shareholders provides a significant financial and administrative burden on the company. Yes, I mentioned this before. The Millwall are very much trying to save money where they can and make money where they can. They reluctantly knocked the program on the head because it lost 35 grand last season. They just said, well, it didn't break even. Tala, we've got to drop it. So, as at the date of this document, there are 1.3 million ordinary shares and 60.75 million B shares. The company currently has 8,411 shareholders, of which 8,382 shareholders represent in aggregate 99.65% of the total number of shareholders, but only 4.43% of the total issued share capital of the company. So 99.5% of the shareholders only own 4% of the company. Each of these 8,382 shareholders holds less than 1,000 shares, and the average is 7 shares per person. There is extremely limited market in the company's shares. The company shares have not been listed on the alternative investment market since 2011, and despite the company offering a share matching facility through JP Jenkins until 17th of February this year, this facility was very seldom used as has now been withdrawn. And I don't know what that means. I think that means that you can buy and sell shares through JP Jenkins, but I guess now, how do you buy and sell shares in Millwall? The current size of the shareholder register places an unwarranted financial burden on the company. Since 2014, the company has issued B shares to allow for ongoing investment in business operations. Yeah, that's what I was saying about John Berylson's loans to Millwall and then being converted into shares. The B shares rank above ordinary shares in any repayment event and have in fact diluted the existing shares over this period. With the anticipated investment into the new training ground, as well as funding the continued development of the football team, the board are conscious that two classes of share make further investment more difficult to obtain. Therefore, it has been agreed that the capital structure of the company should be reflective of its aspirations and goals. For the above reasons, your board therefore believes it's best interest of the company to reduce the number of shareholders and to simplify its share capital structure by consolidating the currently issued shares in the capital of the company into ordinary shares of £10,000 each, which will have the effect of decreasing the number of shareholders to 28, which is still a large number for a company of our size. So it is proposed that every 1,000 ordinary shares and every 10,000 B shares be consolidated into a new share of £10,000. The effect of that consolidation, if improved, is shareholders are holding more than 1,000 ordinary shares will exchange 1,000 for one new share, and shareholders are holding more than 10,000 B shares will exchange them for one new share. The existing B shares represent the majority, 81.4% of the company's share capital by value. So the holders of these B shares, of which there are only 3, like I said, it's the people who, I think it's Cheshunt Hill, John Berylson's company, Cheshunt something, and I think maybe Constantine, is it Goricus? It's listed up here. Gonticus, maybe Trevor Keys as well. I think they might be the 3 people. So they will hold the proportion of the new ordinary shares. Deferred shares. There are currently a large number of deferred shares of 0.0009 pence in issue. They've got no value, no rights to vote, and are not entitled to dividends, and they will then excluded from receiving return on the liquidation of the company. So they are in fact worthless. And Millwall are actually going to buy them back for 0.01 pence per share. So the Companies Act requires that the buyback be authorised by a resolution at the meeting. So that's what so following the buyback, the deferred shares will be cancelled. So they're actually giving you more than they're worth, because they're worth 0.0009 pence. They're actually going to pay you 0.01 pence. So I guess ka-ching, I don't know. You have to vote on new articles, because they're going to change the wording where it says B shares to blah 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 to new shares or whatever it is. So they're changing the articles. Of course, you have to read through it all. Make sure they don't slip anything funny in there. Future share issues. The new articles will contain preemption provisions in relation to the issue of equity securities by the company, requiring all such securities to be offered to existing shareholders other than with the consent of shareholders holding not less than 75% of the new ordinary shares. What? So they're consolidating it only to offer out more shares, but it's going to be first offered to existing shareholders, so that's going to be 28 people. Now, will that include the Lions Trust? Could the Lions Trust do a fundraiser to buy more shares if they're available? Other than with the consent of shareholders holding not less than... So, it's only going to be the shareholders who own... Only the big shareholders can say yes to this. Little ones can't. Only a shareholder owning 75% of the new shares will be allowed to agree that can go ahead, which I think is literally just John Bell. So that's up to him. Share transfers. Historically, the company's shares were publicly traded and so freely transferable without restriction. As is more typical for a private company with a relatively small number of shareholders, new articles provide that where a shareholder wishes to transfer shares, they shall be first offered pro rata to existing shareholders. Yes. What this means, this doesn't mean, this means the 28. This is after what happened. So if you're one of the 28 and you want to bail out, you're going to have to write to everyone else and say, does anyone else want to buy my shares? And they're going to say, yes, please. Well, I guess they all have to say yes or no. They all say no, then what happens? Can you then just sell it to just some random person? What does that mean? Transfers? So, interesting. So, let's say I own the shares. I don't, but let's say I'm one of the 28 who own shares. Let's say I kick the bucket, and then my shares, I want to leave them to my kid in my will. I'm not allowed to do that. I have to first offer them to the other shareholders. Is that what that means, or does that include that? I don't know. Effect on shareholders and treatment of fractions. So here we go. An unfortunate consequence of the consolidation is that shareholders who hold less than 1,000 ordinary shares will not be entitled to a new ordinary share. So if you do not have 1,000 shares right now, you will get nothing. You will get nothing. A number of fractional entitlements will exist. Fractions. The fractions represent the fractions of a new ordinary share. So I guess if you have 999, you can't get one new share. So you effectively have 0.9 of a new share, but they're not doing that. So that if you've got 999 shares, that's tough luck on you, huh? You should probably find someone who you can buy a share from. Fractions of a share cannot be issued by the company. The articles therefore give the board the power to deal with fractions as it thinks fit. For example, the board could aggregate the fractions, sell them to any person, and distribute the proceeds of sale pro rata between all the shareholders entitled to a fraction of a share. It is estimated that 76 new ordinary shares will be created on the aggregation of all fractions, which would, if aggregated, be equivalent to 1% of the total issued share of the company. Which is weird, because they just said earlier, 99.6% of the shareholders own 4% of the company. But now when they're saying once they've consolidated and they've taken, so there must be some people as small shareholders who have more than 1,000 shares and won't have them taken off of them, because they said 4%, now it's 1%. Once they've taken all the fractions away from everyone and added it up, it'll be 1%. So there must be 3% of the shares that are owned by people who have enough to carry on after consolidation. But then they said there was only going to be 28 shareholders. Kind of weird. Given there is no ready market for shares of the company, your board has concluded that the value of selling the new ordinary shares arising on the aggregation of the fractions and distributing the proceeds to shareholders is uncertain, and that the cost of administrating such a distribution is prohibitive and has considered other more practical solutions. Your board is very conscious that for a great many of shareholders affected by the consolidation, their shareholdings reflect the result of historic financial investment into the company by way of subscriptions for shares, often at times when the company needed the financial support of fans. Very many of these subscriptions date from the original flotation of the company in 1989. It's probably one of the worst investments you've probably ever made. Probably one of the worst shares you've ever made. But these subscriptions in many cases represent a substantial personal amount for individual shareholders, and your directors remain thankful for the support shown by shareholders in this way. After much consideration, your board has decided to exercise its discretion as to the treatment of fractions by offering individual shareholders a choice of how their entitlement will be dealt with. And the first one is to give the shares, option 1, to the Lions Trust. The Lions Trust is completely independent of the company, and there will be no voting restrictions applicable to the gift shares. So like I said, the idea is with the Lions Trust, you don't own the shares yourself, and you don't have the voting rights to the shares yourself. The Lions Trust has the shares, and then you join the trust, and then you have a say in how the trust votes. That's the idea. If you take no action, you will be deemed. So if you're a shareholder and you don't vote, you do nothing, then your fractional shares will be given to the Lions Trust. But there is another option for some reason. This is probably what the Lions Trust was saying in terms of the Lions Trust wanted the option to donate like a charitable fee to Millwall Community Trust. But it seems what they're doing is if you're a shareholder, you pick option 2. Then the Millwall Community Trust will get the shares. So you either do nothing and they'll go to the Lions Trust, or vote and give them to the Lions Trust, or vote and give them to the Millwall Community Trust. Now, why would the Millwall Community Trust want your shares? Well, probably it was 76, wasn't it? They said 76 new shares. 76 new shares, which will be 1% of the company. Now, here's the thing with this, and they've already said if anyone wants to get rid of their shares, they'll be offered to the existing shareholders first. So, what I think this is, what's going to happen is they'll give your shares, your fractions, to Millwall Community Trust, and then the Millwall Community Trust will then offer them to existing shareholders to buy them to raise money because they're a charity. Why would they want shares? Why would they want to vote? They would rather have the finances. So I think that's just a way of doing that, where you just give them the shares and then they can sell the shares to existing shareholders, as was mentioned previously what I've just read. I think that's what it's about. The Lions Trust is an existing shareholder of the company. They currently hold 0.73% of the issued share capital, and currently in campaigns for increased support and influence at the club. So there you go. Now here's the thing. So what are you going to get if they take your shares off of you? Well, all shareholders holding less than 1,000 shares, you are invited to ask them to send you a certificate of appreciation. So all shareholders entitled to apply for a certificate of appreciation, you've got until 31st of December this year. You contact the club by email at that email address and write, and you write in the envelope certificate of appreciation, and you've got to quote your full name and address of the shareholder and the number of shares held, and they will send you a certificate of appreciation. Isn't that great? Other benefits. So here's something else they're doing after they steal your shares off of you. The club will make available the opportunity to utilise a 10% discount on matchday hospitality, as well as conference and events at the Den, up until 30th of June 2024. So this season and next season you get 10% off when you spend on hospitality and conference and events. But again, if you want that, you have to write an email to them saying, I want this, give it to me. Because literally, the reason why they're doing this is because they don't want to have to send. If they just sent out these certificates, just for everyone, 8,411. How many people are going to ask for a certificate? I don't know. How many people are even going to realise this and know this? I don't know. And as I was saying, can you imagine 8,400 people turning up to a shareholder meeting at the Den? It's gonna be absolute fucking carnage. It'll be funny to see, but pretty much doubt it's gonna happen. Yes. Furthermore, for a minimum of 2 years after the consolidation. So here's a funny thing as well. The board will host a meeting for existing ordinary shareholders to attend. So it's going to be like an AGM just for you people for the next 2 years. So it's going to be like a fake AGM for former shareholders. So you're going to turn up there. You're going to be allowed to turn up to a meeting and basically moan at them, the board of directors and senior executives, and talk about what's happening with Millwall behind the scenes, business wise, for some reason. So you're going to be it's going to be your fake AGM. It says akin to an AGM. So that's what you're going to get. You're going to get 2 years of 10% off of spending a lot of money, and you're going to get 2 years of being allowed to go to an AGM meeting style, not really an AGM, fake AGM. And then they get into like new share certificates and tax. And here's all the thing that's going on. What you got to vote on at the meeting on Monday the 19th of September. So not that long to go. A couple of weeks. Not giving you much time to sort it out. So if you wish your fractions to be aggregated and transferred to the Lions Trust, you need take no additional action. If you wish to elect for option 2, please tick the box on the form of proxy. Recommendation: your board considers that the proposed consolidation is in the best interest of the company and its members as a whole, and is most likely to promote the success of the company for the benefit of its members as a whole. The directors therefore unanimously recommend that you vote in favour of the resolutions as they intend to do in respect of their own beneficial and other associated holdings representing 79.11% of the existing ordinary shares, which include the holdings of Chestnut Hill Ventures, representing 70.39% of the ordinary shares. That is the company that John Berylson owns, Chestnut Hill. So yeah, basically they're saying all of the big shareholders are going to be voting for this, and they hold 79% of the shares. So I'm not sure what the threshold is in terms of voting it through. Is it literally 50 plus 1? But they're literally like saying, look, this is happening. You can vote against it, but you're pissing in the wind. And here's the actual things in that and other shit going on. So there you go. That's what's happening. Taking the number of shareholders from 8,400 down to 28. Now here's the thing: you've got 2 weeks. If you do have like 900 shares or so, and you want to remain a shareholder in Millwall, I guess you've got to try and find another shareholder and buy their shares off them. But how do you do it? Because the club said they've stopped doing the share matching scheme, so I don't know what is the instrument of transferring selling shares at the moment right now. Can you try and get some shares from other people? I don't know. It's probably too little too late. And how much are you going to pay? Be might be quite interesting if you do try and sell your shares. Where are you going to sell them? Sell them on eBay? Would there be a buyer? It might be someone who is on like 900 shares would love 101 shares to take them above the current minimum threshold, so that they can just carry on being a shareholder. In that case, well, I suppose the price would spike quite crazily in just like a couple of weeks. But I don't know about that. I don't know if you can still buy and sell shares or how you do it. I suppose you've got to do it privately, and then inform the club that it's been done. But then how do you do that? Do you write to them saying, I'm selling my shares and I'm selling to this person, please transfer my shares, but then you got to sign it? How does that work? I'm not sure if you can do that, but there you go. I've just spent half an hour boring you about all that shit. So now I'm going to bore you for probably 15-20 minutes about the stats from yesterday's game. Aren't you lucky if you're still watching this? So here we go from experimental361.com. This is the expected goals over the length of the time of the match. Millwall are the blue line and Cardiff are the grey line. And you can see a bit slow to get going. A bit of a flat line until the 15th minute, and then boom, we start the staircase. Not a classic staircase because we do go up quite a bit, and then there's a few small little bumps. So that means the better the chance, the higher the line goes up. So we had some kind of half decent chances and just some really poor chances that were very low XG. But you can see as our staircase goes up, what happens to Cardiff's line? Flat line. But we have a lot of chances. But when you go to Millwall's flat line at the end of the first half, you can see when you go compare that to Cardiff's line, they've got the classic staircase. So obviously they're doing some build-up work. They're coming forward with the ball, passing it around, trying not to lose it, and then they have a shot. And then they do it again, and then they have a shot. So ours is more gung-ho, and theirs is more building it up, which means keeping the ball, which means we have a flat line because they've got the ball and they're coming forward. And you can see at the start of the second half, see, we don't have a shot on target until subs come on. So what happened at half time? Did Barrett change it? Did he have a word with someone? What happened? Did Cardiff change a few things that messed us up? They didn't really attack that much, or in terms of shots on goal, but they did more attacking than us at the start of the second half. What really did change it was the substitutions around the 60th minute. And then we scored the goal. We've got another little staircase going on. And then we have another flat line because Cardiff made their own substitutions, which then gave them the ascendancy, and they go back, have a few chances while we just defend. And we have a flat line. We have a counter attack. Benekofobi scores, and boom. Good night, Vienna. And Cardiff's best chance of the game actually came right at the end of the match. You can see how high the grey line jumps up, and luckily it didn't win in because even though it probably would have only been 2-1, but still. Yeah, you can see this is really good when you can see we defend, they attack. We attack, they defend. Very clear to see. And overall, our XG was 1.5, their XG was 1.3. Top left, you can see that. So we overperformed our XG, which we haven't done for so long. And actually, our best chance of the game was a phobies. You can see the highest vertical blue line is where Benekofobi scored his goal, which is good. When you get a chance like that, you've got to score it. And it was a chance that he made himself. I mentioned in yesterday's video. He's kind of doing what one of the Millwall players did before. I can't remember if it was Gregory or Morrison. If you put it on a plate for him and he has to react to it, It doesn't really work for him this season. Whereas if he picks it up and runs at the goal, he makes it for himself, he'll put that away more often than not. So does that affect how we play him? I don't know. But actually, the player with the most XG for us was Fleming with 0.3. But more on that later because he did have a fair few shots. So we're going to look at info goal on net, and they actually give it the other way. They actually have XG higher for Cardiff. So if you look above the red FT in the middle, they give the XG as 0.81 for Millwall, which means our chances we were more clinical, because if our chances were supposed to be 0.8 of a goal, we ended up getting 2, and they give 1.3 to Cardiff. But if you can see here, so the triple substitution, 62 minutes, straight after we score, that obviously had a massive effect as we go attacking. After we come out second half flat as a pancake, then you can see on 69 minutes, Cardiff made their own 2 changes. We have to start defending. We ended up getting 2 yellow cards doing that. We weathered the storm, and then we end up getting the late goal at the end, which just calmed everyone down a bit after Cardiff were hitting posts and stuff and making everyone a bit nervous. So let's have a look at the XG shot map from goal.net. So here's Millwall's chances, shooting from far and wide. Mostly down the middle, as we've seen before. They trying to get in between the 6-yard box. Those 2 lines in the middle. There was only one outlier, the one on the left, which was Wogglesam, 34 minutes. So, but someone was shooting from all the way down here. Who was that? Tyler Ver in 71 minutes. Okay. But yeah, not very good chances, and quite unusual because we were trying to score from inside the box in most of the games so far this season. So maybe that's something they've told not to do, or if they're struggling to break into the area, I'll just shoot from outside. Which is, so that's something that's different from previous games. We go first half. Aha. So first half, literally only a handful, less than that, inside the area. All the others are from outside the area. Second half, 3 inside the area and 2 from way out. Tyler Berry's 1 and Zion Fleming's 1. So overall, if we go back and see Cardiff, you can see they had better chances than us. So according to this, which is why their XG is higher, they obviously had that one Shea Ojo where he hit the bar or the post. Villagine Bidachi, and the other one there, Robinson, right at the end. That was the chance that we saw an experimental 3-6-1 where the line went quite high. But you can see they're shooting from all over the place, mostly down their left hand side. So yeah, everyone's getting involved there. Fairness, oh hang on, fairness rating 41.76. Was that a fair result? Apparently not. Apparently not. Cardiff should have won that game, apparently, according to this website, based on the chances they created. So did we get lucky? Did we get lucky? Did that bar save us? The woodwork. Should we thank whoever painted that? Maybe the brushstrokes, just however they painted it, that helps us out really well. If I painted it up and down, that might have helped us out. But, well, there you go. If we go second half and see how Cardiff did, do we really want to? There you go. Not really bothered about Cardiff anymore. Let's go on to whoscored.com and see. So you can see here, the better players are the ones who actually scored the goals. 4 of the top 5 rated players are Millwall players. Zion Fleming had 5 shots. Hutchinson had 4 tackles, even though he was only on the pitch for half of the time. And Callum Styles had 4 dribbles. Nice. We go back to the middle. Millwall were effective at creating goal scoring opportunities through individual skill and from through balls and from set pieces. But we gave away a lot of free kicks around the box. Cardiff were poor at finishing. We gave away a lot of free kicks around their box as well. So did we get lucky? I know everyone's up and happy and excited that we actually won the game. Is this papering over the cracks? Are the cracks still there? I don't know. I'm glad that Rowett changed the team around, that he put Styles on the left and Shackleton on the right instead of in the middle. He wasn't working in the middle. I know he wants to play in the middle, but he's wasted there. And he ended up dropping Billy Mitchell to accommodate him, and it's not really working. Saville's playing really well this season, I think. So you've got to think it's going to be Saville and Mitchell, and then when any of them get either knackered or tired or injured, you sub them out for someone else. So attempts on target 16 to 12, 10-10 open play, 6 set pieces for Millwall, 2 for Cardiff, and that gives us a conversion rate of 12%, which is very good. You can see we were mostly going down the left hand side for our new exciting signing, Callum Styles, and Cardiff were mostly going down their left hand side as well. Shot directions, yeah, mostly down the middle for Millwall now. Shot zones, action zones, and player positions. That is an attacking lineup. Or we were effectively playing 4-4-2, sort of. 4-1-3-2. Styles is kind of playing 4-4-2, but with an outside left. That's what they're saying here. Biakowski playing quite out of his goal. Cardiff, what the fuck are Cardiff doing here? Look at Cardiff's average player position. You've got your 4, typical 4. You've got one player 6. I imagine he's supposed to plug the gaps to stop. But they're playing on each other. 35 and 6 playing on each other. I can't even see that other number there. It was 30 something and 10 playing on each other. Attacking down the right. And 25 and 19 playing off each other, attacking down there. Very weird. Very weird. Is Morrison going to get the sack? Cardiff fans not happy. He hasn't won a game in 5. Yeah, something might happen. Let's have a look now at the match center from this website, whoscored.com. If you look at the top by the club badges, you can see the average player rating for Millwall is 7.09. The average player rating for Cardiff is 6.33. So quite a big difference in quality of the players. A crowd of 13,010 people. So let's have a go. These are the ratings. Cresswell coming off the bench to get 8.8. It seems they've given the higher ratings to the players who actually did the stuff, who scored the goals. Bradshaw only 6.4, seems to be the lowest of the starters. Although here's the thing, he did come off, so he didn't have the full 90 minutes. Hutchinson getting 7.1 off of 48 minutes on the pitch. So let's have a look at shots. 16 to 12. Who had them? Fleming had 5. Bradshaw didn't have a shot. Vogelsam had 2. And then Styles, Saville, Mitchell and Wallace, Murray Wallace down that left hand side, getting involved. And the players mostly on the right hand side, obviously not involved because Cardiff were coming down their left, forcing us to defend down our right. Cresswell had 2 shots when he come on. Scoring 1, that's not bad, is it? Position wise, they had more position than us, which we saw in the 3-6-1 graph. They were doing build-up play, bringing it forward, and then having a shot. But for us, it was Cooper on the ball for most of the time, 5.3% of the match time. And then Biakowski 4.4, Billy Mitchell 4.6, Al Styles 4.9. Pass success percentage 74 to 79. Mitchell 86, Styles 84, Hutch 84, Bressel 87. But we're going to have to see, of course, how many passes did they actually do. Dribbles 7 to 9. Mostly Styles. Good to see. Aerials 1. Wow. 33 to 10. Almost a threefold more aerials won than they did. Which is going to explain another thing later on when we go to Biakowski's pass accuracy. It was way up. We got Saville with 5, Cooper with 5, Ogilson with 4, Fleming with 3, Cresswell with 3. Fantastic stuff there from Millwall. Tackles again. We beat them on that 20 to 16. Everyone with a tackle except for Mitchell, Fleming, Volsam, and Biakowski. Good stuff there. Corners 4 to 6. Dispossessed 11 to 11. Basically, dispossessed is having the ball taken off of you and being closed down. I don't know what the difference between a tackle and dispossessed is. I suppose if you're running with the ball and then they just shoulder barge you and take it, that's kind of. Or if you just hit it too far, or poor ball control, and then they take it away from you rather than tackling you where they actually physically touch you and take the ball, I guess. So we've seen that. Let's get on to the list and the lines. Okay, so here we go. Charlie Cresswell 8.75. He comes off the bench on the 47th minute. And you can see the players that actually did stuff get the higher ratings here. Malone with the assist. The boo boy, Malone, has got 3 assists so far this season. Gets an assist, 7.31. Phoebe with the goal, 7.91. Charlie Cresswell with an assist. I guess he pumped it long for a Phoebe. So he gets the assist. And he gets a goal himself. He gets 8.75. You're on the pitch for less than 45 minutes. You've got an assist and a goal. You've got 2 shots on target, or headers, or shots. 2 shots on target, which seems like it's going to be the most if we just do it now. Let's do it now. So we have all these players having shots. So a lot more on target this week than before in previous games. So I don't know if they're taking the time or focusing a bit more. But Zion Fleming, 5 shots, only 1 on target. Mario Wallace 2 and 0. Vogelsam 2 and 1, but Afobe 1 shot, 1 on target, 1 goal. That's it. You do what you do and do it well. You don't have to be prolific. You can see Fleming with 5, but if you only get 1 shot on target, what's that worth? Saville 1 and 1. So what did we say? 16 shots, yeah? So how many on target? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So nearly half. 16, then 7. Then so with 16 shots, 7 on target, 2 goals. More or less, as you go down, however many shots you have, half of them will be on target, and then a quarter of them will be goals. So that suggests some pretty good goalkeeping from their goalkeeper. Is he one of their best players? 4th best player, okay. So touches, who had the most touches for Millwall? Callum Styles 68, Murray Woods 56, Jay Cooper 51, and then it fades off. Let's have a look at defense. Who did the defending? Hutch, still the most tackles, even though he wasn't on the pitch. He was only on the pitch for 47 minutes, 4 tackles. Then Murray Wallace, Callum Styles getting involved in attacking as well. So he was attacking, dribbling, and tackling as well. Sounds like a pretty good wing back to me. Defending and attacking. Interceptions, Sean Hutchinson with 2 again, leading that category for Millwall. Clearances, Jake Cooper with 4, Shackleton with 3. Charlie Cresswell with 2, Ball Sam with 2, and some others blocked shots. Only 1. So all the shots at Cardiff, only 1 was blocked, and that's from Charlie Cresswell. Interesting stuff. Passing wise, who had the most passes for Millwall? Jake Cooper, Callum Stiles, Murray Wallace, Billy Mitchell, and judging by that, who's the standout? Billy Mitchell. That's what he does. His passing accuracy is high. Now you say, well, he passes it sideways. Yes, to a Millwall player. Fantastic. And look at this Bart. Now Bart's passing accuracy is normally in the gutter. It's normally around 30% or so. 40 to 45 is good for him. 63 because of all the long balls. 33 passes, 30 were long balls. 19 of them were accurate. So it's winning the headers up front, the aerials that we saw 33 to 10. That's helped Bartosz Białkowski get his passing accuracy up. Again, Jamie Shackleton, 26 passes, 80%. Not bad. When you consider, but crosses and accurate crosses. Saville 4 and 3. Shackleton 3 and 0. Again, here's the thing: he might be playing it into space for people to run onto, so he's not actually passing to a person. That might not come up as an accurate cross. Fleming 2 and 1. Malone here 2 and 2. So obviously Malone, coming off the bench, put a bit of a rocket up his arse. He's got 2 crosses, 2 of them are accurate, and got the assist. He's had 3 key passes out of 5. He only had 5 passes, but 3 of them were considered key passes. So obviously, he's got a point to prove now because he's been dropped. So that's working. The squad game. The better players, they get in the starting position. If you're out of the players in form, I should say, rather than the better players, the players in form, they get to start. And if you're not in form, you can come off the bench and try and prove something to the manager, to the fans, to your other teammates that you're worthy of another chance at starting in the team. And Malone's responded well here. Look at his numbers. 5 passes overall, 3 of them were key, 80% accuracy. So he's missed one. He had 1 misplaced pass out of those 5. 2 crosses, 2 accurate. 1 long ball. Oh, that was inaccurate. So the 1 long ball was inaccurate. And he's got an assist from a corner. What more? The corner that led to the first goal. What more can you want? In terms of long balls and accurate long balls, we have obviously Bart 30 and 19, very good for him. Jake Cooper though 13 and 3, that's a bit crazy. Again, George Saville 6 and 4, Murray Wallace 6 and 3, Billy Mitchell 6 and 4. This is good numbers here. Sean Hutchinson again 4 and 4. Callum Stiles 2 and 2. That's it. If you're gonna do something, do it well. Let's go back to the ratings of all the players. Charlie Cresswell. So we have 9 players of 7 or more. 9 players of 7 or more. And 2 of them left early. 1 left in 47 minutes and 1 left in 61 minutes. Still got enough done in the game to get 7 or more. Pretty decent, though. So I don't know about that other website that said that wasn't a fair result. But it was a lucky result. I think when you have 9 players getting 7 or more, seems pretty decent to me. In terms of, so again, Vogelsammer not doing well coming off the bench, but then when he started, he hasn't really done that well. Bradshaw not doing that well. 6.35, and player who replaced him got a better score than him. So the subs coming on in 61 minutes were Phoebe, Malone, and Tyler Burry. So the only one who didn't outperform every one of those was Tyler Burry. He got 6.5. He outperformed Bradshaw. Why is that a thing? Because Bradshaw had 61 minutes on the pitch. Tyler Berry had 30 minutes on the pitch. Again, Scott Malone had 30 minutes on the pitch. I've had 30 minutes on the pitch. But in their 30 minutes, they did more good stuff to get them a higher rating than the player who was on the pitch for twice as long as they were. Namely Bradshaw and Vogelsammer. Again, Vogelsammer started, and he's not really doing as well as he did from coming off the bench, which is a weird one. Maybe it's because he prefers playing against tired defenders. I don't know. Maybe it's better for him to do that. Or maybe I don't know. Maybe he sits on the bench watching the game, like intently, with his German intenseness, and he figures out, right, okay, when I go on the pitch, that one there, I'm going to play off of him and I'm going to fuck him up. Maybe he sees something sitting off the bench, and then when he comes on, he can put into action. I don't know. Whereas I don't imagine that he's been a massive watcher of the Championship on German Sky or wherever you watch it. So he probably doesn't really know. Whereas if he's sitting on the bench and watching the game, he can figure it out and think, okay, when I come on, I can do this, this, and this. Maybe it's that. I don't know. What else? What am I going to mention as we approach the hour-long mark of the boring festival? Yeah, it was just pretty decent performance all round, wasn't it? Just yeah, decent performances from the players, decent performances from the manager, from Gary Rapp, from making the changes, from dropping Danny Mack, putting Shackleton there, bringing Callum Styles and putting him straight in. Now he's been playing every game for Barnsley so far this season, 6 games, so that he was definitely match fit, and no problem with that. Yeah, making the changes at the time we did because we were flat in the second half. Yeah, still round everyone did well. Good result. We needed it. And now we go to Sunderland away next week in our away form. Sunderland pretty fucking decent. They've got a player named Jack Clark that they spent 10 million on. 10 million, Sunderland. Because they have the fans to be able to bankroll them to do that. So you wouldn't really say that it's a winnable game for us, but we need to start winning away. So how do we play? Does he play the same way that he played here against Cardiff, or do we try and find a different way of setting up away from home? We will see. Knowing Rowett, he'll probably try and play the same team again and get absolutely ruined because it's not the same game. Cardiff at home is not the same as Sunderland away. But we will see. And on that note, thank you for watching and goodbye.